Hello and welcome to this tutorial. In this tutorial I want to show you how you can control your car with a complete steering wheel and control stick setup. So you can switch the gears with the control stick, up to 6 gears, and then we can drive the car, we can control the steering wheel, and of course switch the gears manually. Great, so let's go. First of all, we start up with the vehicle template. If you don't have it, you can easily add this by clicking Add Feature or Content Pack, and select the vehicle template here. Second is the plugins, in this case the Windows Raw Input plugin, and restart your project. Afterwards, we can go to Edit, Project Settings, and scroll down to the Raw Input. I explained in the last tutorial where you find the vendor ID and the product ID. Of course, link is in the description. Very important, if you add this plugin afterwards, it's important to set up the access properties and the button properties exactly how it is here. So let's take a look first at the access properties. For some reason, it's important that you set the index 0 to nothing. You can't leave it out, you can't delete it, you have to set it like this one here, otherwise it will not work. Of course, you can just pause the videos and take a look for this settings here. As you can see, index 2 is also disabled. And then we have just the generic USB controller access 1, 2, and 3. And this one are inverted. The button properties are for the buttons on your steering wheel as well as the control stick. So for example, my index 1 is the generic USB controller button 2, in this case the handbrake. And we have also the camera change, and the index 13, in this case the generic USB controller button 14, is my gear 1 up to gear 6. If you want to know which button you have to select for your steering wheel, you start your project. Then enter show debug input, hit enter, and now you can see on the left the generic USB controller access, so when I control the steering wheel. And also if I have the control stick in gear 1, you can see it's generic USB controller button 13, 14, 15, and so on. So it is exactly matching for the inputs. Next, let's open up the vehicle template folder, blueprints, vehicle player controller. There we have the use steering wheel input, and we have to check this to true. Then we go to the input folder where we have the actions, and I just copy and paste the handbrake input and rename them to gear 1, 2, 3, and so on. Then we have the IMC steering wheel, open this up, where I just add the new action inputs for gear 1 and up to 6. And like I explained, we have the generic USB controller button 13 for gear 1 and so on. So we are done here as well. Let's open up our favorite car. This will work with every car. In my case, I use a custom car, the Firebird here. Of course, links in the description. Let's open up the vehicle movement component, go down to the transmission setup, and of course we have to uncheck the automatic transmission and the automatic reverse. You can change the gears if you want, but you can also keep them. From the last tutorial we have the input of the steering wheel where we set the static mesh of the steering wheel here. So let's set up the control stick. In this case the IA gear 1 and so on. Then we put the vehicle movement component right here and want to set the target gear. And we check the immediate to true, very important, and go on for the rest of the gears. And then we just have to set gear 1 to gear number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then again, we need to set target gear. Set this one to 0 and connect every complete of the inputs to this target gear. Like that. And that's it. Compile and save this. Let's see if this works. We hit play. I can switch to the indoor camera. I can use the steering wheel. I can use my gear stick for gear 1 or 2. Let's go to gear 1. Drive forward. Change the gear to 2. And we can drive with the manual gear, with the steering wheel. Great. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you have any questions, please let me know, and yeah, goodbye.